शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Hare Krishna. So you can hear me well, I'm assuming, and see me well, I guess.
Yes.
If you can see me well, I'm sorry. If you can hear me well, that should be good. We'll continue on with Ayodhya Kanda. We will pick up at the 66th chapter. Because there have been a little on and off. There was a Q&A last week. If we have forgotten where we left off, in Ayodhya, Sumantra has come back and confirmed that Ramachandra and Sita and Lakshmana have crossed over the Ganges and are now residing in a place called Chitrakoot. And when he comes back to Ayodhya in an empty chariot, Dasharat Maharaj, who cannot hold back his separation from Ramachandra, that pain of separation is so intense that he first loses consciousness, and then when he's revived, he's piteously crying. And that night when he is laid on the bed, the next morning he does not wake up. So while that night he's only constantly crying, He Rame, He Sita iti, and Lakshmana. So he's calling out the names of Sita, Rama, and Lakshmana and gives up his life. So next morning, when this is chapter 65, when the royal bards come to wake up Dasharat Maharaj, they are singing all these songs to wake him up, but there's no movement from him. So then they try playing even louder and faster music, nothing happens. Then the attendants shake his body and he doesn't wake up. So it is now official that he's not alive. So chapter 66 begins with Kausalya Devi holding Dasharat Maharaj's head on her lap. And hold on, I'm getting texts from people, so I don't know what that means. Ramayana, okay. Holding Dasharat Maharaj's head on her lap. And she is in this complete distraught condition. And Valmiki Muni starts the chapter by saying that the king who had passed away, his body had no symptoms of life. He looked like a fire that had been extinguished. An ocean whose water has been dried up. And a sun that doesn't have any luster in him. So with that description, Kausalya, who's going through this very amazing and intense emotions, gives Kaikeyi a very, very intense thrashing. And she says, "Oh, Kaikeyi, you're such a woman of evil deeds. You who's standing here, are you happy that all your desires have been fulfilled? Okay. Now the king is gone away. You can happily enjoy the kingdom undisturbed without any hindrance. It's all yours. Take it." Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing left. My dearest son Ramachandra has gone away to the forest. My dearmost husband has gone to the heavens, if you will. And I don't wish to live any longer. What am I going to do uh, when everything that I can call that is valuable to me is gone away? And she says, what kind of a woman would want to survive when her loving husband and loving son have gone away, except someone like you, Kaikeyi, who's just wicked and you have no sense of righteousness in you. And then she says, a greedy person can never understand his or her own faults. Just like someone who has eaten food doesn't know how the food is affecting them inside. And because of this Manthara Kaikeyi, you have put the entire Raghu dynasty in chaos and danger, in ruin. You're responsible for it. And what will happen to King Janaka? Can you imagine? His daughter also, she has no fault in all of this, but his daughter also has been sent away to the forest. So this Ramachandra, Sita, and Lakshmana are gone away. Entire Mithila, Ayodhya, everything is in disarray. And Janaka, who's now aged, who's old, he doesn't have any sons, and he's also going to die in a miserable condition. So the whole idea is, Kaikeyi, do you realize that your sense of greed or your determination that Bharata should be the king and that Ramachandra should be kicked out of Ayodhya has so many uh, consequences, collateral damages, as they call it, so many. And you don't have the insight to understand how that will impact everybody, the whole of Ayodhya, Mithila, the kings, the elders, the ancestors, everybody, including animals and birds. By what's that?
What happened, bro?
I don't know. My for some reason. Okay, can you hear now?
Yeah, we've been able to hear. No problem.
Okay, all right. So she says, because I have such love for Dasharath Maharaj, I will jump into the funeral pyre and give up my life. I don't see a reason why I should continue living. So while she's piteously crying and speaking all these words, the attendants, the palace servants, quietly remove Dasharatha's body and take it away because Kaushalya is just out of her senses. Then the ministers, Dasharatha had all these 9 or 8 very special ministers. They gathered together and decided that it is unclear what to do with Dasharath Maharaj's body because the sons are not available. So they put his body in a big vat of oil to preserve the body from decaying. Generally, as soon as someone dies, if they die in the, let's say, early part of the day, then before sunset, one should perform their funeral rites. And if they die in the night time, as much as possible, before sunrise, it should be taken care of. Or that day, somehow before that sunset, it should be done, if possible. Someone dies at night, before sunrise, some or the other, they should take care of things, or at least as soon as possible, the sons or the eldest son must be there. There's a whole thing. So they didn't know what to do. So they preserved his body in a vat of oil until a decision can be made as to how to cremate Dasharatha's body. And when all the queens in the palace saw Dasharatha's body submerged in oil, they also just piteously started crying. So here's what we're going to see. Kausalya was crying, or these are Kausalya's words. Then the queens will express their sense of loss for Dasarath Maharaj. Then the residents of Ayodhya, so that's the progression. The residents of Ayodhya will also express how it is to be without Dasarath Maharaj. So all the queens started crying, "Oh, my dear king, without you, what is there left for us? The only shelter was Lord Ramachandra, and he too is gone away. And how can we live when our dear son Ramachandra is so far away and you are not around? And this wretched Kaikeyi is going to pretty much rule everything that happens in the palace and in the kingdom. And we have no sense of shelter or protection because we don't trust Kaikeyi at all. Uh, and because this Kaikeyi has sent Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita Devi, who are completely innocent, out to the forest. And this Ayodhya will be like a sky without a moon, or a woman without a husband. So we've heard the words Madhava. Dhava means husband. So Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune. And a widow is called Vidhava because she's bereft of a husband. So they're saying that Ayodhya, the kingdom, whose husband was Dasarath Maharaj, is now without a husband. So with all these disturbances and crying and all of this, the whole of Ayodhya went into severe sadness and grief. Then all the relatives, friends, residents of Ayodhya, they started crying that, oh my gosh, such a wonderful king is not there anymore. So the night passed in everyone's grief and crying. The sunrise next morning, the great Brahmanas who were residing in Ayodhya, their names are given, great rishis called Markandeya, Maudgalya, Kashyapaha, Vamadeva, Katyayana, Gautama, Jabali, all these great persons. They gathered together and they went to Vasishta, who was the chief priest. He's called Raja Purohita. So they went to him. And while facing him, they were all looking at him and they said, "Oh, my dear Vasishta, Dasarath Maharaj has passed away. There is no, his sons are not around. Rama and Lakshmana have gone to forest. Bharat and Shatrughna are in Kaikeya kingdom. The countries or the kingdom is without a leader. And you need to do something quickly. Choose somebody from here and you pronounce them king. Because having a king is very important. Let anyone from the Ikshvaku dynasty that you think you know, you should crown them as the king." And then there is this whole chapter. So verse 9 to verse 37. So almost 28 verses. Yeah, 28 verses is a list make a list of what all happens when a kingdom is without a leader. I'm not going to go through all those verses because that itself, explaining that and discussing that, will take a lot of time. So we'll only sample some verses. He says that although when there is no leader, so the phrase used is arajakaha. Arajaka means without a king. So they start every verse has the word arajakena, arajakena. So one of the verses they say that when the kingdom doesn't have a good, righteous king. Although in the sky you will see clouds, they will thunder, there will be lightning, but Indra will not shower any rain. And we know without rain, there cannot be any grain. Without grain, there cannot be any brain. This is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita that I like to encapsulate as no rain, no grain, no brain, only drain. Everything that is there will go away and strain. Then he says that these one by one, the Rishi was speaking. So then they say that the farmers will not plant or sow any seeds. Sons will not listen to their fathers, and the wives will defy the authority of their husbands. And the whole kingdom will not be or will be bereft of any truthfulness. People will not assemble in parks or temples. People will not have self-restraint, because when there is a king, there is law, people are cautious. When there is no person that they're afraid of or they don't care, then there is no restraint, no self-restraint. Brahmanas will not adhere to Brahmanical work. The Vaishyas and Shudras will not do their work. The Kshatriyas will not protect anyone. Brahmanas will not give in charity properly, and they will not be performing sacrificial rites, and no one will give any charity to Brahmanas. Festivals and gatherings and dances will not happen. Actors will not put on dramas, and they will not rejoice the citizens. Storytellers will not tell stories by which the audience will feel happy and forget their distress and all that. Agriculture will not happen. People will not sleep, or people will begin to sleep in their homes with their with their doors locked. Because in Ayodhya, no one locked their doors. The doors were always open, and they didn't have to worry about theft or any of such thing, because Dasarath Maharaj was the king. Now they're going to be locking their doors. Young girls will not be dressed up nicely and roaming around in the gardens, because their chastity will be at risk. Then they say that there won't be any business. Merchants from different places will not come. They will not travel with their goods, because they will have a concern for safety. Then monks who are supposed to meditate and subdue their senses and meditate on the soul will stop their meditation and just roam aimlessly in the city or the country. Enemies will attack the properties, etc., etc. There's a whole long list. Rivers and gardens will not be frequented by people. Then people who buy property, there will all be a lot of land disputes. Someone will encroach on their land. And might is right. Like fish, like a big fish will eat a small fish. Similarly, a stronger person will exploit a weaker person. Then atheists, people will become atheists. Even if they're on the right path, their faith will be shattered. And anything that the previous king had set up will all go into disarray, etc., etc. They give a whole long list. And then Vasishtha says, "Oh, great Brahmanas, after hearing from you and understanding the circumstances here, I understand that Ayodhya without a king will become like a jungle or a forest where there are no such rules." Okay. So please, sorry, so Vasishtha, please do something. This is what you're supposed to do. Do your duty. So Vasishtha then to reply to these Brahmanas and some of other ministers who were all his friends. He gathered them and he told them, listen, we need to do something. We need to immediately bring Bharata and Shatrughna from Kekaya Raja's home. Hmm. Because Bharata needs to be uh, crowned the king. So he called upon these ministers. Their names were Siddhartha, Jayanta, Vijaya, Ashoka, and Nandana, these five. They're all ministers of Dasharath Maharaj. And he said to them, I'm telling you, quickly get on your fastest horses uh, and immediately go to this place called Rajagriha. Rajagriha is the city of or the capital of Kekaya kingdom. And he said, take gifts of fine silk and gold and other valuable items as gifts for Kekaya Raja and for Bharata. And when you get there, uh, don't say anything. Okay. All you have to say is this. Okay. Tvam kushalam praha sarve cha mantrinaha twamaran cha niryaha Krutyam Atyayikam Tvaya, which means the royal priest and other ministers are asking about your welfare. Come quickly. Start immediately. There is very urgent work waiting for you in Ayodhya. Don't say anything else. So this is a tradition generally in India. They never say to a person, a relative who's distant away, especially the one that is to perform the final rites. They never tell them your father or mother has passed away. They only tell them, actually in olden times, there used to be telegrams, and the telegram would say, return immediately, or something like that. So they said, don't say anything. This is all that you're going to tell them, that the Vasishta is thinking about your welfare. You have urgent work in Ayodhya, return immediately. Don't tell him about Ramachandra's exile. Don't tell him about Dasharath Maharaj's death because the calamity will be too much. Don't tell Bharata how the entire Raghu dynasty and Ayodhya are in disarray. So quickly go with all these gifts. So the ministers took their horses, uh, packed some prasadam for travel. Luckily, these five ministers were not ISKCON devotees because when ISKCON devotees travel, more than the luggage, prasadam bags are heavier. Huge packets of prasadam of different varieties of fruits and sweets and nuts and buns and rolls and rice. And I mean, our prasadam packages are very, very heavy. And if they had traveled that way, they would need elephants and not horses. Okay, so luckily they were not ISKCON devotees traveling on a mission. So they took whatever and started galloping westward. So there's a whole description of the places that they visited from Ayodhya. They crossed all the way to Kuru Jangala area, went up, crossed certain rivers. There's the names of all these rivers. I'm going to skip them for now. Entered the kingdom of Kulinga, bathed in a river, drank water, refreshed themselves. The horses got refreshed, kept going. Okay. And very, very quickly, and it gives a whole path that they crossed. So if that old map, if we had, we could look at it. But they crossed the Bahalika kingdom and all of that, crossed through Girivraja area and came into Kaikaya kingdom. So that ends chapter 68. So the very night that they entered the Kekaya kingdom, that very night, Bharata had a dream. And in the middle of the night, Bharata woke up. It's not middle of the night, actually, the night went away. And generally, they say that dreams that one gets just before the Brahma Muhurta time, so somewhere around 2 o'clock and after, they generally have some indication. Okay, now I don't know for all of us, But Ramayana has, Mahabharata has, and in some cases, people do get such dreams that are portending. They're premonitions in one sense. There's a difference between premonition and portending. Premonition is you actually see the event happening, and portending is are all symptoms. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kali Yuga has to just appear, Krishna has left for his eternal abode, then Yudhishthir Maharaj sees all these things happening in the sky. But Bharata had this dream, and this dream was something so realistic that woke up and was in severe distress. His whole body was shaking. He was crying because he couldn't make full meaning out of the dream. He just knew that something's not right. So his friends who were also there tried to call musicians and play some delightful music. But Bharata, his mind was too disturbed to enjoy the music. Then the friends started telling some jokes that were really funny. Uh, but Bharata could not laugh because his mind was still disturbed intensely from the dream. So he told his friends, because then one of the friends asked, "Why are you so jaded or disturbed like this? What's going on?" So Bharata said, I want you to listen what happened to me. This dream that I have is very disturbing. And the dream is that I saw my father, Dashrath Maharaja, wearing dirty clothes, that they were full of dirt and they were all disheveled. And he was on top of a mountain, and from there, he fell into a pond that was dirty and filled with cow dung. And he fell right into it, and he fell into that pond. He stood up and with his palms was drinking oil. Okay, and like a madman was laughing. Ha 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 ha. I couldn't make any sense out of it. Then I saw in the dream he was eating rice that was cooked with sesame seeds, and his head was bent down, his whole body was smeared with oil, and then he was plunging and jumping in that oil, falling, getting up, falling in that oil. And with this dream, I saw that the whole ocean was dried up, and the moon from the sky just fell to the earth like that, and everything was covered in darkness. The elephant on which my father used to ride, the tusk of that elephant was completely shattered. The earth had cracked open, the trees became dry, and the mountains just whirled like dust and evaporated into a mist into the sky. My father was wearing black clothes. He was sitting on a chair that was made of iron, and the women in black and reddish brown, black dresses with reddish brown complexion were laughing at my father. And then my father was wearing the red garland. His body was smeared with sandal paste, and he was seated in a chariot that was drawn by donkeys, and he was headed in the south direction. And this ugly faced female demon wearing red colored clothes was laughing and dragging the king. Uh, then he said that I don't know what this means. It only, all this indicate death. So either I am going to die, Ramachandra is going to die, Dasharath Maharaj is going to die, or Lakshmana is going to die. One of these is going to die. So I don't know what that means. Um, and he says if in a dream, interestingly, he never said Shatrughna. I don't know why. In a dream, if a person sees a chariot yoked with donkeys and he's being driven to the southerly direction, it means that very soon that person will be lying down on a funeral pyre. So he said, for this reason, I'm completely heartbroken and shattered. I'm experiencing a lot of fear in my heart My voice is choked. My body has lost all its luster, and I don't know what to do. I'm restless, and I don't know what to make of this bad dream. And I cannot be consoled. So in chapter 70, as it became morning, and Bharata was narrating this dream to his friends, the messengers walk into the palace, and their horses are tired. But they've entered this beautiful city called Rajagriha. Okay, with a beautiful big gate, royal gate, surrounded and protected by a moat. They met the king of Kekaya Raja and Prince Yudhajit. Yudhajit is Kaikeyi's brother. So the king and the minister received these messengers, these ministers of Dashrath Maharaj, very respectfully. Ministers went and touched the king's feet and offered their greetings and gave all the gifts that they brought. And the gifts they brought is described in Valmiki Ramayana, that the value of the gifts that was given to the king of Kekaya kingdom was 200 million worth. And the gifts that they gave to Yudhajit and the other persons, there was 100 million worth. So very, very expensive, fancy gifts. I mean, they're just going to say hello and they're giving such expensive gifts. And then they said, we need to speak to Bharata. And they addressed Bharata and they said, "Oh, Bharata, Vasishta, the family priest, is asking for your welfare. Come quickly. There is urgent work for you." In fact, the statement is verbatim what Vasishta said and what they said. Okay. So this is the verse which occurs previously also. Purohita tva kushalam praha sarve cha mantrinaha tvaramanaha cha niryahi krutyam. Niryahi krutyam means make your exit from here quickly, because atyayikam tvaya, there's an urgent work waiting for you. And then here are all the gifts that is for you and for your maternal uncle. All these jewels, precious clothes. And I said they're all worth 200 million, etc. So then Bharata says, well, hold on a second. I hope everything in Ayodhya is okay. I hope Dashrath Maharaj is safe. I hope that Ramachandra and Lakshmana are okay. Then he says, I hope Kausalya, who's such an amazing lady, full of dharmic qualities, and who is the personification of goodness, and who's the mother of Ramachandra, she's well. Okay, and I'll read you the verse. Aryacha dharma nirata. Dharma nirata means established in dharma. Dharmagya dharma darshini. So if everything is from dharma for her. I'll read it again. Aryacha dharma nirata, dharmagya dharma darshini, aroga cha api kausalya, mata ramasya dhimataha. Aroga cha means aroga. I hope she is not afflicted by any disease. Then he asks about Sumitra. Kachit Sumitra dharmagya janani lakshmanasya ya Shatrughnaschya Veerasya Saroga Cha Api Madhyama. Madhyama means the middle queen. Sumitra, the great mother and very dharmagya. She knows the nuances of dharma, and the wonderful mother of Lakshmana and Shatrughna. I hope she's okay. Then he asks about his own mother. Atmakama cha Chandi Krodhana Pragyamanini Aroga Chapi Kaikeyi Mata me Kim Uvachaha. But when it comes to his mother, he already knows her mentality. He says, Atma Kama Sada. That means she's very selfish person. Atma Kama Sada. And then Chandi. Chandi means angry, fiery person. Krodhana, full of anger. Pragyamanini, she thinks she is very, very intelligent. Such a woman, is she okay? How's my mother? So when they heard these questions, they all replied, "Oh Bharata, okay, you're like a tiger among men. Whoever you're asking about, they're all well. The god Lakshmi Devi with a lotus in her hand is waiting for you. Let your chariot be made ready. The goddess of prosperity." So, so he doesn't understand what this means, uh, because they're saying the Shri Tvam Vrunute Padma Yujyatam Chapite Rakaha. She is waiting for you to bestow upon you the best fortune. So come quickly. Then Bharata said, "Okay, let me take permission from my uncle and grandfather, and then let's go quickly." Then he went to sought permission. King woke up, stood up. The king of Kekaya Rishi embraced Bharata, kissed him on his forehead, and told him, "You have my permission to leave. We are very fortunate to have a wonderful grandson like you. And please convey my greetings to your mother and father. Pay my obeisances to Vasishta Muni and all the other wonderful Brahmanas that are residing in Ayodhya. And give my best wishes to your brothers, Rama and Lakshmana, the best archers." And then we treated him very hospitably, gave him wonderful clothing, skins of antelope, gold and silver vessels, 2,000 gold coins, and 1,600 horses. And Ashwapati, that's the name of the king of the KK Raja, got his personal chariot, told his driver, "Take Bharata back to Ayodhya and make sure that he safely reaches Ayodhya and then you come back." Then Yudhajit, who's Kaikeyi's brother, gave wonderful gifts, elephants of the Airavata race, and very special mules that could walk very quickly and were very well trained. He got these huge dogs that are ferocious, as good as wild animals, and they could fight like tigers if necessary for protection. And told him, "Please go in a hurry." So, with all of these gifts, the chariot, Bharata, Shatrughna, and the ministers, and a whole retinue of people started leaving for Ayodhya. Now, the route Bharata takes is different than the route the five ministers took. And one of the reasons is the ministers know something that Bharata doesn't know. That's number one. Second, the ministers had to ride fast. So they were on smaller chariots and horses. So they took a different terrain to reach Kekaya. But Bharata is coming back with a retinue, massive chariots, and he cannot come back in the same path. So he has to come from a different path. Think of it this way. Most of us have been to Brindavan, or at least have seen on videos Brindavan. And we've also gone to Loi Bazaar. I may not have gone to Radha Govinda temple, but I definitely offer my respects to Loi Bazaar in Brindavan. The roads are very narrow, and only some Tata Nano or some small cars can go through those lanes. And once a car comes in, nothing else can pass through. Everybody will honk. No one will give way to others, and it's a complete chaos. Imagine if an SUV has to traverse through it. It's not possible. So the bigger cars take the Parikrama Marg along the Yamuna River. And then people walk through small gullies and lanes and alleys to come into Loi Bazaar. Similarly, Bharat Maharaj took a different pathway. It took him 6 days. And there is a whole description of all the places he came by, the rivers that he took a bath in, drank the water. And anyway, it took him 6 days to get to Ayodhya. So that's chapter 70. I'll quickly complete 71. So when Bharata enters Ayodhya, he's actually coming in, and from far he can see Ayodhya. Oh, that's Ayodhya. Then he turns to Shatrughna and his chariot driver and says, something's not right. Usually, Ayodhya, from far also, you can see it always in some celebration. And all around here, the outskirts, in the suburbs, people are frolicking in the parks and gardens and sitting under trees, and I don't see anybody. So something's not right. And when they enter the outskirts of Ayodhya, he sees that the streets have not been swept. He sees that the temples have been left without deity worship. The pujaris are not doing anything. People are not cooking in their homes. How do you know? There is no smoke coming from the chimneys. The brahmanas are not performing their daily puja. People are just walking like zombies on the streets. There are no songs, no dances, no celebration, no festivities. He says something is not right. It just makes me in the pit of my stomach. I have this very bad feeling, and I don't know what is happening here. So as they enter Ayodhya, uh, all the persons who are supposed to greet him at the gate, they come with kettle drums, songs, and they sing just to welcome him back. And he says, even with their singing, I'm still perceiving all these evil and silly omens, and my mind is very uh, disturbed. Then he ties his horses to the main Vaijayanta gate, and everyone's like, "Oh, you know how we see in B.R. Chopra's Vijayi Bhava, Vijayi Bhava." They're greeting him at the gate, and then he walks in. He tells the chariot driver of Ashwapati, whatever is happening, you please come in, take some rest before you leave back. And he says, before this, I would hear songs in the palace. There's nothing going on. And with this very gloomy, sad, this some sense of in his gut that something is not right. He enters the palace and with his head hanging low. And that's how chapter 71 ends. And we'll pause here and see if you have any comments or questions, anything you want to share. If you need to speak, you have to unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Haribol. Are you on speakerphone? I can't hear you so well.
Now is it?
Nah, better, little better.
Okay, okay. I have a question, Prabhu. Like when ministers went to bring the king, Bharat Maharaj, why didn't they tell that like as soon as bad news supposed to be told immediately, it should not be delayed. So why didn't they tell that your father is expired, please come back? Is there any reason?
Well, they didn't say anything because Vasishta told them not to say. He said, please tell him that Vasishta is asking about your welfare. There is urgent work for you. Come immediately. Generally, news of death is not given by messengers like that, especially when the relative is far away, because the sense of grief that they have to manage alone. That is why when someone passes away, all friends, relatives, they all gather at the house of the departed person to console the family members, because grieving alone is very, very difficult and should not be done, because without support, if someone is grieving, then it's very difficult to overcome the grief. So they need their friends, their family, and others to come and support their grieving. So this Bharat is sitting in Kekaya Raja, and if he comes to know that Kaikeyi banished Ramachandra and Lakshmana and Sita to the forest, that Dasarath Maharaj is dead, his grief cannot be managed. It's not good for him. So he told him, come back immediately. And now he will know when he comes here.
Oh, okay, bro. And can I ask another question? If
Yeah.
thank you, bro. Like another question is that like you told one reason of the dream, like when Bharat Maharaj was seeing like when the donkeys taking the king to the south side. Is there any other like another reason? Not other like women were wearing red sarees and he
Yeah.
was falling from the mountain into the oil. Like he was eating with the sesame seeds rice. Especially. Like sometimes in the Sharda Pitrupaksha, they use only black sesame seeds.
Right.
But is there any reason?
Why? Is there any reason? No, that is the method that Pindodaka or Pinda is made with rice and black sesame seeds. And if you read Narada Muni's description to King Puranjana, he says that Jara, old age, uh, appears like a very mad old woman, and then death also comes and takes this King Puranjana away while she's laughing and dragging him away, something similar like that. So these are all indications of how Yamadutas or someone will drag the subtle body and take him to the abode of Yamaraj. So the abode of Yamaraj is in the southerly direction. That is what's the indication that when one travels in the southern direction, it means that they are dying and going towards the Pitraloka and Yamaraja's abode.
Thank you, Prabhu. And that's why they say that we should not sleep in southern direction, but keeping our head on the south side. How far it is applicable for a devotee?
Well, if you can, ideally it's east or south. It's not that the head is not to the south. The head is not towards the north. The head towards the north is head towards south is okay. Head towards north generally not recommended.
Thank you, Prabhu. If somebody doesn't have, I'll ask again after some time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
We know that Kaikeyi was so affectionate with Lord Rama until Manthara brainwashed her, right? So, like, why did Bharata, when he was telling about Kaushalya and others, when he was saying about Kaikeyi, why he was describing like that? Like she's that kind of woman.
That's her personality.
But we have been known like she's a very nice woman.
We don't know that.
Oh.
We only know that she is very loving to Ramachandra. But okay. Bharata knows her personality. Should we read those wonderful words again?
Yeah, sure.
No, go ahead. Any other question? Someone's asking because I can't hear.
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
I can hear you now. Okay,
Hare Krishna. This is Kirti here. It's not a question. I'm just wondering. Bharat Maharaj kind of has already has this omens, and he is suspecting something bad, and he's set for a big jolt, so to speak. Um, and it's not one but two. Both the thing that Rama left for left for the forest, and Dasratha dying, and both were father figures for him. So that would have been so difficult for Bharata to take. And unfortunately, he does not even have a support system to console, because his mother was the reason why this happened, and his father left the body. So he practically doesn't have anybody to lift him up in the kingdom. And he's also kind of seen as the cause for Rama's leaving the kingdom.
Yes.
So he yes.
So in America, it's called double whammy.
Yeah.
So back to Naveen Krishna's question. Now, why they didn't tell him that Dasarath Maharaj is dead and Ramachandra went to the forest is because Bharat Maharaj will ask them, why did all this happen? And the messengers in front of King Ashwapati and Yudhajit has to say that Kaikeyi was the cause for it. That will be an insult to the Kaikeya kingdom also, right? Although that's reality, is the truth. Ramayana is all about speaking in a way that is very appropriate for the place, for the persons, for the time, in refined language. You know, in Kali Yuga, everything has to be said it very like that. But in these times, they're very careful. And Vasishta, who's such a seer, a thoughtful person, told the. This is my understanding of it. I haven't heard of a commentary. Just now, when Kirti was speaking, by his Kirti, I got to understand something that they want to be careful to not blame Kaikeyi up right in the middle of the palace of Keikaya kingdom.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Um, so you told when Dasharatha left his bodies, Kausalya was very sad, but I did not hear anything about Sumitra's response, like how she responded. Do you have any?
Sumitra is included in all the other queens who were crying piteously. So just in case you were wondering, she was also very sad.
No, like previously she consoled Kausalya, saying
That's
about.
it. No more discussion. He Valmiki Rishi doesn't speak much about it.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
This question is pretty much the same, just taking it a step ahead. On the lines of Bharata using harsh words for his own mom, we understand Kaikai must have done things which is unpleasant, but just looking into the lens of a mother or a child, a mother never does anything that will hurt his own child. So whatever she did was for him. So it seems to me a little harsh for a child to say anything bad about his own mother or calling names which are um, not so pleasant. Can you help me understand those thoughts? And is that okay, or is it on the lines of dharma to use such words for your own mom, or think it like that, or having such thoughts, even if she's done something unpleasant to others? And I understand it's been done to Ramachandra, but still I'm not able to fathom that thought.
First of all, Bharata is not a child. I mean, he's a full-grown adult. Second, Bharata is not speaking out of spite. He is speaking the truth. And he says, Atma Atma Kama Sada Chandi. So he knows that she has that feature of personality. She's a selfish person. To say when someone is selfish, to say, oh, is a selfish person is not wrong. It's not a judgment. It's not a label. It's evident. In fact, not being honest would be worse. That Bharata will say that, no, my mother is amazing. Yeah, she's an amazing mother. She gave birth to him, no doubt. But not speaking the truth is more painful. This is like Dhritarashtra, who saw Duryodhana do all sorts of things, but never told, oh, that was wrong. So he's not saying that he hates her. He says, my mother. But he also knows what her personality is. So I don't, at least when I read it, it doesn't seem like he hates his mother. He loves her very much. But he also is speaking the truth. This is how her personality is.
Okay, so is that okay when we're considering dharma to just bluntly speak the truth and not consider the emotion that it is for his own mother or his own father? Or
But it's not like he's avoiding the emotion. He's not speaking something that is exaggerated. When we speak and we do, we, what's that word? We judge someone. We understand that our judgments are coming from a selfish place. We feel judged, therefore we judge others. Okay. Bharat is not a victim of such judgment. Bharat is speaking truthfully. He's not insulting his mother. There's a difference. When it comes to us, we cannot. Similarly, just the way Arjuna showed anger on the battlefield or Hanuman showed anger in Lanka, doesn't justify that we show anger because we don't know how to control our anger. We are victims of anger. Similarly, we are victims of our judgmental tendencies. So we are told we use language carefully. Bharata in this case is not. Bharata speaks truth.
thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu, question. After the death of Dashrath Maharaj, great personality like Kaushalya was affected of that. So, but in Bhagavad Gita, we understand that Sukha Dukkha Same are equipoised in both the situation. So, for us, how do we understand this Leela? And for devotees or practitioners, how do we process these kind of difficulties in a life?
I mean, can you imagine if Kausalya sat like this and said, Sukha Dukkha Same Kritva. It doesn't matter whether Dasharatha is alive or dead. That is not our understanding of philosophy. It's not. Here's what Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion. That Vairaga, detachment, makes a person's heart very hardened. So what one needs is Yukta Vairaga. And Yukta Vairaga means seeing everything in relation to the Supreme. So when a king who is the emblem of truthfulness, honesty, love, kindness, compassion, who has ruled Ayodhya for 60,000 years without a problem, when such a person passes away, obviously, and that happened to be her husband who had such long association with her, why not? Then our great acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur also expresses when some other Vaishnava passes away, I feel like jumping in the fire and banging my head against a rock. Pashane Kutibho Mata. Anale Pashibo. What happened to all their wonderful lessons of detachment? So Prabhupada says that only a stone has no emotions, but humans, especially Vaishnavas, are full of emotion. So feeling a sense of loss is there in pure devotees. Feeling a sense of loss is there in the materialists also. But where the consciousness is situated is all the makes all the difference. So a materialist person will also eat their food with great eagerness. A Vaishnava will also eat with great eagerness. In fact, with more eagerness. Because it is Krishna's. So the consciousness, not the action, the consciousness makes the distinction of who's where. So her crying and someone else is crying are not the same. And there is a loss. Her husband is died. How can she be like a stoic, emotionless? That means the heart has to be soft for emotions. Hard-hearted people have no emotions. Must be soft. And process of bhakti is to make the heart soft, soft like butter, so that Krishna can steal that heart. Versus if the heart is like steel, then there is no need for Krishna to come look for pieces of steel. Tadashmasaram hridayam bata idam. For sure, heart is made of, Prabhupada says, steel framed. The Sanskrit word is ashmasaram. Ashmasaram, ashma is stone. Yugal Kishore Prabhu, does that answer your concern?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It is very clear.
Tears must roll when great Vaishnavas leave, or it has to be there. Feelings and bhakti is full of feelings and emotions.
Yes, Prabhu.
In fact,
thank you.
Krishna also cries. Ramachandra cries piteously when we get to, by their grace, if we get up to Aranyakanda, it is unimaginable how Ramachandra cries. Like a simple materialist who has lost his wife is unbelievable.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah,
This is
Haribol.
Sarvamudas.
Yes.
Haribol. Prabhuji, just one quick question in terms of on the context of Shoka. So what I heard that it is very natural when whether it is material or spiritual point of view, one thinks about the relationship. When this kind of loss is there, this lamentation is natural. People will go through that phase. But what I heard that a Vaishnava is considered that they should not dwell on that for long. They should eventually come out of that. But this lamentation is and shoka is natural. It will happen. Even when Bharata will, I heard that when Bharata will go to give the news of death of Dasharath Maharaj to Lord Ramchandra, he also like falls down on the ground and he laments like anything. So that I heard that it happens. It's natural, but one should not dwell on that for long. They should try to come up, overcome that. So is that the right understanding?
So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sukheshu vigata sprha, dukkheshu anudvignamana. So vigata sprha, sprha means awareness. And vigata sprha means losing awareness. So when someone is very happy, they're so happy that they forget their surroundings, where they are, what's going on. Or dukkheshu anudvignam. Udvigna is the distress, is distress. Anudvigna mana means so sad and grieving that they cannot think of what is happening in the surrounding. They will not eat. They will not take care of their children because whatever. They forget their reality. So Krishna says that happiness and distress are both should be there and is there, but it shouldn't cross certain boundaries and boundaries of the present reality. So neither on this side nor on the side of sadness, sukha and dukkha.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
last
Thank you, Prabhu.
last question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
On the topic of heart becoming hard, heart becoming hard. When we start practicing the principles of bhakti, we I kind of followed like the rules and regulations just for the heck of rules and regulations, and I feel the hardness of heart. So what's a way to like move from there to a different place or a softer heart?
When one understands that rules and regulations are all servants of the ultimate rule and ultimate pair of rule and regulation. Always remember Vishnu and never forget him. Vismartavyo na jatujit. Sarve vidhe nishedasyor etayoreva kinkaraha. So when one follows rule for sake of rule, then one is inflicted by or afflicted by niyamagraha. Niyamagraha, what it does is Rupa Goswami says bhaktir vinashyati. It blocks the flow of bhakti. So bhakti softens the heart, and niyamagraha makes like a veneer or a crust on the heart and doesn't allow that bhakti to really soften the heart. But one of the symptoms of sadhana bhakti is we are afflicted by those 6 things that destroy bhakti. So when Rupa Goswami calls it out, atyahara, prajalpa, niyamagraha, then it puts light on certain things that a devotee should look carefully and say, oh, where all is atyahara for me? What am I? How am I being niyamagrahi? How am I being atyahari, etc. So one becomes more aware and vigilant about those things. And the more aware and vigilant, the less one becomes victim to it. Before that, we didn't even know. And if we are not vigilant and aware, then I'm sure there are persons who can help us with it. And when the flow of bhakti is consistent and profuse, then the heart cannot remain hard. And the flow of bhakti is facilitated by the chanting of the holy name. So that verse, Ashmasaram Hridayam Batedam. Okay, Stira?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Prabhuji, can I ask one last question?
Last question Stira asked.
Okay.
Is it like a long explanation thing?
No, I don't know. It depends on you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But I'll ask you, and if you don't have time, maybe you can ask. You can ask later and tell later, Prabhuji. So my question is about Shoka. Like especially in this Corona situation, one of my relatives, they left their body, and the family could not even see the dead body, and they could. I mean, none of the relatives could go and see
Yeah,
the
that's tough.
person. Even the family members, yeah, because one of the family members also got affected with corona. So I was just thinking about um, how important is this shoka, or how to handle shoka in these kind of situations when because of the restrictions.
I mean, I don't know what you mean, how to handle Shoka. Shoka is Shoka. As long as we are human beings, we will feel it.
When we don't have family support or gatherings happen in this special corona situation.
Find other coping strategies. Everybody must create for themselves coping strategies. Coping strategy means put your trust and faith in at least one or two friendships that are beyond uh, selfish considerations, that are genuine well wishers. It doesn't have to be too many. If you can handle many, great, but at least one or two, such that you're there for them as support and they're there for you as support. And they understand, or they can empathize properly what's happening. If such persons are not available, find other ways and means by which that can be addressed. So here's a little plug into Yamuna Jivan as part of a Karuna Care that helps devotees process uh, and go through whatever they're having, whether it is shoka or fear or sadness, whatever it is, that there is someone who can help us process through it. He's getting trained in it. Mother Ramboru and a group are helping the Vaishnava community. So if you have friends who can help, great. If not, there are other resources. But everyone should create some coping strategy.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Because that verse from Lord Brahma, Tatyanukampam, in that he says Jiveta. Jiveta means one should continue living. And one to live, one has to cope with what is distressful. So to cope, one has to create coping strategies. A lot of people have coping strategies. They drink, they take drugs, they do something that completely numbs them from the experience. But we are meant to create different coping strategies. And the best is having someone who's loving and caring. That we can speak freely without feeling judged, and tomorrow that it won't be used against us. Because when we are in certain mental state, we say and suddenly say things that should not be taken so seriously. Or I mean, of course, certain thing like I want to kill myself must be taken very seriously. But things like, I really hate that person. It may be that, but with passage of time, the hatred may not be hatred. But friends who are supporting should not be like, oh, well, hold on a second, that is aparad, you cannot speak. You have to learn to support, not that you encourage it, but you don't judge it. Just an example. I'm just rambling, but time to go. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Until we meet again, take care. We are entering a very, very amazing section where Bharat Maharaj has entered the scene. How he handles himself is very fascinating. A little different, but very fascinating. I relate more to Lakshmana, who treats and deals with things a little differently, and Bharata is a different person. So, Hare Krishna, more to come. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.